It was a lot of background noise because I was in the middle of cleaning up my kitchen, cleaning up my house, and cooking, washing clothes, all that stuff. So it was a lot of background noise, and it also was the sound was kind of choppy. And I believe it's because I was recording in my kitchen. My house is a pretty big house. So certain parts of my house, my internet kind of messes up a little bit sometimes. So I'm coming back with another video. God, my volume was real low. I hope you guys heard me when I was just talking. My goodness. The sound wasn't all that great on my last video. Like I said, it was choppy. I was recording in the kitchen. I have a pretty big house, so sometimes my internet is kind of choppy in certain spots of the house. Okay, so I had to come back on and make another video. I should have my butt in the bed sleep, but I had took a long nap earlier because I stayed up late last night, knowing I got to get up and be at work at 8. So my intentions are to be in the bed at least by 12. But anyway, enough of the small talk. We talking Alpo Martinez. A lot of people thought and think Alpo Martinez was a black guy. He was not black, y'all. He was Dominican. But with Dominicans, they come in a lot of different shades. It's a lot of dark-skinned Dominicans. But Alpo was Dominican. He wasn't black, but he was a dark Dominican. It was a nickname they gave him, Negro. Negro, that's what they used to call him, was a nickname they called him because of how dark his skin was as a Dominican. But his sisters and stuff like that, you could tell they're Dominican. They look like the regular Dominican, light complected. You could tell that they're Dominican, but Alpo was a darker skinned Dominican. So he wasn't black, he was Dominican. But, he hung with blacks, he hung with Dominican, all type of nationalities or whatever, but a lot of cats that he hung around were black. So he had that swagger of, a black guy. A lot of Dominicans in New York, so many different kind of nationalities in New York. You got your Haitians, you got your Dominicans, you got your Puerto Ricans, you got all type of people in New York. A lot of Dominicans, a lot of Puerto Ricans, they live in New York. Haitians, they live in New York. But he hung around a lot of black guys, so he had that swagger. He had that swagger of a black guy. Like I was saying in my last video, Al, I kept calling him Al. When I say Al, I'm meaning AZ, Faison, the one who did the Paid in Full movie. That was the movie that Azon Faison, the movie was about. He was the star in that movie or whatever. But Paid in Full, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. But you can't just watch Paid in Full to know the whole aspect of Alpo's life. You can't. Because like AZ was saying in the interview, they had to kind of switch stuff around and kind of add on to certain stuff to make it more dramatic. So you really got to do your research and hear it from the horse's mouth, which is Alpo, AZ, and a lot of other cats that hung with Alpo back in the day that knew him real well. Movies, they can't put exactly what really happened in real life. Sometimes they got to put stuff in or take stuff out, you know, so you can't just watch Paid in Full and think you know Alpo's story, because it ain't happening like that. Um, yeah, I'm just really just hurt by it all. I hate old boy went out like that, but you know, I all I can say is his past then caught up with him. His past and caught up with him, unless it was something he did recently since he been on the streets. But I really feel in my heart like it was some niggas that was seeing him out and about hanging around in Harlem. And they probably was like, this nigga think it's sweet. All this shit, this nigga done had my nigga locked up for life. You gotta look at how he did Wayne Perry. Wayne Perry, now this is real fucked up. Wayne Perry was his right hand man. Wayne Perry was Alpo's muscle. He was getting, Alpo was having Wayne Perry knock people off. Wayne killed so many people behind Alpo. The hits that Alpo put Wayne Perry on to do. But Alpo turns on Wayne Perry, and now Wayne Perry will never see the light of day because of Alpo. And Wayne Perry was only doing the shit because Alpo was telling him to. Not saying that Wayne Perry wasn't killing folks before Alpo, because Wayne Perry had a name in the streets in Washington, D.C. as a killer. He killed before. I think they say his first body was when he was a teenager. So Wayne Perry was already out in these streets. He had already had a reputation. They was already scared of Wayne Perry in D.C. That's why Alpo took Wayne Perry up under his, you know what I'm saying, up under him, and used him as the muscle. But when it all went down, Alpo turned on Wayne Perry. Now Wayne Perry never see the light of day. Actually, Wayne Perry's, I hate to use the word baby mama, but his baby mom, she actually did an interview. I think it's like 2 interviews out there with her on there, describing how dirty Alpo was and how he had snitched out on Wayne and told all the bodies that Wayne had did, and it was crazy. But I'm still like just tripping out on this. Like, I swear it's never a dull moment. As soon as you turn on this morning, I was just saying, well, when I got up this afternoon, I turned on the internet and I said, well, let me see who done died today, or let me see who done died last night, or who done died this morning while I was asleep. Because it always is somebody getting murked. And it's usually the younger cats, you know what I'm saying? Because they live in a life of, they think they're invincible. But this was just really shocking to a lot of people. I'm going to play a little clip and let you hear this. I really don't like to hear when people do interviews or they speak on a subject that they don't know the background of. It irks me. It irks me so bad, because I'm like, do your research before you speak on a certain topic. But hey, I can't tell nobody how to run their platform, but I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of this right here. I'm not going to play the whole thing. Just going to let you listen to a little bit. Let's see. I'm going to go, let me see where he.
Understand me? Yeah. Well, we don't have time. Nigga, get to building. Somebody asked about the museum to seed money a month ago. You got a lot of niggas out here who are not concerned to soon. I'm not to make it happen. To make it happen right.
Hold on, y'all.
Sure. We're gonna get the right look when I make it happen. Damn it. I really speak. All right. A lot of stuff we're going to touch on tonight. Everybody come on in the room and hit that thumbs up button. Decade. You're going to learn a lot about my life in this book. Who was a known drug dealer.
All right, here we go, y'all.
White supremacy as it relates to relationships. Yeah.
I listen to a little bit of everything. Also, I bring y'all the Bigo stuff that be going on in the Bigo world, but that's not all what I watch and I listen to. Sometimes I could just take just so much of the Bigo shit, and it just does something to me mentally to just listen to folks go in on each other day in and day out. That's not my life. I like doing more so of real shit that's going on in our communities and with our people. So sometimes I have to break away from the messy drama stuff and bring y'all some real shit. I know people like drama and they like mess and fights and all that crazy shit, but really that's not my life. I just bring that to y'all because it seems like a lot of people just feed into that. They love that. But I'm gonna branch off and do other videos as well because I just like doing I like doing shit. I like doing videos on topics that matter. Besides the drama, the mess, and all that, topics that's real interesting to me and just that matters. Okay. So I'm gonna play a little bit of this clip right here. It's a different clip than what played earlier. And then I went back and listened to my videos, and I talk loud anyway, especially when it comes down to topics like this that I get real passionate about. I tend to talk really loud. I was like, oh my God, I'm literally screaming at my people. When on my last video, I'm like, God, I was so loud. So I'm gonna try to tone it down because that video I was cringing listening to it, how loud I was. But I'm real passionate when I speak on a certain topic. So I'm kind of learning to tone it down a little bit. But I'm gonna let y'all listen to this clip right here. Like I said, this person right here is not extremely knowledgeable about the Alpo's life. I am, because like I said, I've been following and researching stuff about Alpo for years. So a lot of stuff that he's saying is correct, but a lot of stuff that he's saying is not correct because he don't know the backstory. I know the backstory, but he doesn't know the full backstory. But I'm gonna let you listen to a little bit of what he has to say.
A lot of shit, a lot of stuff we go into. But anyway, let's get into some game here tonight. The topic of tonight's broadcast, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about the streets don't forget. The streets don't forget. As some of you have probably heard, a guy named Alpo Martinez, who was a known drug dealer in the 80s, who the movie, my brother Dame Dash's movie, Paid in Full, immortalized. Alpo, Rich Porter, what's the other brother? AZ? What's the other brother's name? Azon. What's the other brother's
AZ
name?
Faison.
But anyway, Alpo Martinez, Alpo Martinez, from that infamous clique, he was killed today. Was it yesterday he was killed? Either today or yesterday. I think it was last night. Boy, they got him and they shot him in Harlem. AZ, I was right, AZ. Where are my New York guys? Where's my New York family? Where's all my New York guys? Where are my New York family? Where's my New York guys? Now Alpo is a Puerto Rican dude. He's Puerto Rican. And I've talked about y'all hustling with some of these non-FBA dudes.
Like I said, he doesn't really know the full backstory on Alpo. He's just giving his what he thinks he knows about Alpo. But Alpo was Dominican. So yeah, he was Dominican. So he doesn't, like I said, doesn't know the full backstory on Alpo. You know how these YouTubers just be giving a insight of the knowledge that they have on that certain person. So I may be starting the videos to correct it throughout this recording, okay?
I've talked about this many, many times before. A lot of these non-FBA dudes, especially out there in New York, niggas will cut your throat. These niggas come from these cutthroat cultures.
But New York is a shisty ass place. It's a shisty ass. Well, now everywhere you go is some shisty niggas. But New York is known for niggas that's fast talking and that's shisty as hell and not to be trusted. New York niggas ain't no joke. They're like no other. They are some shisty ass, fast talking ass niggas.
There's not all of you. I'm not saying all of you. AZ Faison, yeah, there you go. But a lot of these dudes come from these non-FBA backgrounds. They'll cut you. The thing with Alpo got clipped and became an informant. Alberto Martinez, Alpo became an informant. He started snitching. Yeah, Alpo was out here snitching, and then he had Rich Porter killed, and Alpo was on video. He made a little deal with the folks, put some other niggas under. One dude got like 5 life sentences or whatever.
Wayne Perry.
Alpo got his sentence reduced. I think he got out of jail around 2015. He's rolling around like everything is lovely. I understand at one point they had him in witness protection, but my dude was hitting the streets of New York. He's rolling around New York. Everything is gravy. He's rolling around, getting a glimpse of that old shine he used to have. And again, he was sitting here bragging. No, I won't say bragging, but describing how he had Rich Porter killed. He was describing how he had Rich Porter killed. That Rich Porter was his guy. Yeah, he killed Rich Porter himself, yeah. But yeah, the way he set Rich Porter up, he breaks it down. He had Rich Porter get in the car, lured him in the car, and then clipped him. That was his homie. I heard a lot of stuff about this dude. Didn't he have some well-known gangster out of Washington, D.C. set up, and did he have him killed or did he have him locked up? I mean, I don't know all the details, but I just heard a lot of things from dude. A lot of grimy stuff from dude. He had Dominico killed too. Yeah, so he's getting niggas clipped. He's snitching on dudes. He's like, let me do what I need to do to survive. Wayne Perry, yeah, the DC dude, right? Wayne Perry was a DC guy. Yeah? Yeah, and from what I understand, yeah, Wayne Perry was a respectable dude, or respected dude. He was a respected dude out there. All right? I don't know all the details. I'm hearing things. I've heard things. Yeah, Wayne Perry was a hitter. But listen, it's been, 30-something years since Alpo was doing this stuff. Some of these dudes were getting clipped in the late 80s, early 90s. This was like 30-some years ago. And Alpo probably thought, hey, that's been 30-something years ago. All the niggas that I used to run with are dead right now or they're locked up. So I can hit the block again. I can get back here on these streets again.
And it's crazy that he's saying this because this is my first time hearing this video. And this is the exact same thing I said on the video I just posted about Alpo, how he feeling like most of the dudes that was around during the time when all the shit was going on, either they're dead, locked up, or they older cats, they don't give a damn, or they done let bygones be bygones. No. When you take people's lives and you have people locked up, they family members be hurt behind that. This is shit that is not forgotten or forgave. So yeah, and you got to look at it. Alpo's older than me. Alpo is at least about 50 something. He got to be. He older than me. Way older than me. So this ain't been that long ago. 20 something years, that's not really that long ago. It's a lot of people still living. It's a lot of people did get killed around that Harlem, um when all that stuff was going down in Harlem, everybody dying of drugs, cocaine had hit the streets. It was a big thing. Crack, rock, all that was a big thing. So a lot of people's lives were lost. A lot of people got killed. A lot of people got took down. But it's still a lot of people that are still living that remember when all this was happening, was right in the mix of it, that actually made it out. So everybody's not dead or locked up. Now you got to look at it. Wayne Perry was a big dude in Washington. He was more so known. He sold drugs, but he was more so known as getting in your ass. Wayne Perry was real fear in Washington. Did nobody cross Wayne Perry? They ain't fuck with Wayne Perry. He was a big time dude in Washington. He didn't play the radio. He was one of them type of dudes that didn't have nothing to live for, so he didn't give a damn. He'll kill you in broad daylight. That's how Wayne Perry moved, and everybody knew this about Wayne Perry. And that's why didn't nobody fuck with Wayne Perry or fuck with anybody that was close to Wayne Perry. Wayne Perry was that nigga in Washington, D.C. That's why Alpo had to get cool with this nigga. Cause he had to get some muscle. He had to get some muscle in Washington D.C. Cause Harlem, they started clipping niggas in Harlem. A lot of niggas started getting killed in Harlem. The word was already out that people thought anyway that Alpo had killed Rich. That was circulating. So Alpo had to get the hell up out of Harlem because Harlem was getting hot. Police was taking down big time drug dealers. So that's what made Alpo flee to damn Washington. He was already going back and forth from Harlem to Washington because he had got a connect in Washington. So he started pushing drugs in Washington, making a whole lot of fucking money. Then he started getting connects in Washington and stuff, started getting cool with people like the Wayne Perrys. And then he started fucking around with a girl in Washington. And that became his, what we call his bottom bitch. She was hooking him up with other big time drug dealers in Washington. So he had kind of left Harlem and started living down in Washington and shit. So he was back and forth. But he was making a killing in Washington.
Yeah? Alpo thought it was sweet to get back out on these streets after 30 years. You think, okay, hell, after 30 years, I'm good money. I done been into hiding. I done did my little bullshit time. Yeah, I done snitched on niggas. Yeah, I done clipped niggas. But yeah, their family members are probably, whatever. They ain't thinking about it. Their family members are probably dead. Some of their older family members are probably old now. Alpo was like 55 himself, I think. So they're like, hey, everything is sweet. So Alpo's out here rolling the streets of Harlem. He's rolling around Harlem, and then what happened? They roll up on him and light him up. They got him with 6 of them things. Did he snitch on Rayful Edmonds too? Man. Somebody said the DC dude shot Harlem just for playing Alpo in a movie. Damn. Is that why Cam got touched out there in DC? But yeah, the point is, man, the streets don't forget, man. People think they can outlive or just kind of wait out shit, man. You don't know what relative is sitting on the sidelines waiting on you to show up somewhere. You never know. Boy, these streets don't forget nothing. The streets don't forget shit, dude. These niggas will sit on the sideline. Somebody, you never know. In 1990, one of these niggas' nephews was probably hurt by that. The nephew's been sitting up here harboring hate and revenge on your ass for 30 years. You never know. You never know if somebody's little nephew is grown now. Like, damn, this nigga took my uncle out. Wait till I catch his ass. You never know. The streets don't forget nothing. The streets are very grimy. Family, I want y'all to understand. There's no honor in these streets. There's really no honor, no love. The streets are grimy. And especially when you're dealing with some of these street players that are non-FBA, there's no code. There is really no code. When you let me keep it a buck. I'm not trying to beat up on my New York guys, but out there in New York in particular, you got a lot of these grimy niggas who come from these non-FBA backgrounds, where they come from these grimy ass Caribbean societies where they didn't cut each other's throats. They really have a grimy mentality when they get over here. They bring that same shit over here. Zero code. Them grimy New York grimy niggas, they take grime to a whole different level. LA, there's somewhat of an honor system here. Not to, I know I'm always sounding like I'm bigging up LA. There's a certain code with the LA dudes that's a little bit different. You understand? There is a certain code with the dudes out here. Dudes, they don't really do all that dry snitching and all that shit like that out here. If niggas did something, they just kind of eat that. Like, hey, I'm going to eat this shit. You know what I'm saying? When you do, dudes out here, they keep street business on some street shit. They don't be blabbing. The street niggas out here, they do, to a certain degree, abide by a certain code. They ain't running their mouth too damn much. Yeah, with Pop Smoke, the thing with Pop Smoke, and that's another thing. A lot of dudes, you do something grimy, and then you come back to where you did the grimy shit. That's the thing that kills me.
Right.
You say LA is scandalous, ain't no code. Yeah, it's a certain code. It's a code. It's a code. To a certain degree. Now, let's be clear. Niggas will grind you up or whatever, but as far as niggas telling on the ethnic groups out here.
That's fast.
You know what I'm saying? A New York dude who might be from a Caribbean background, his grandma and auntie and mama is back home in Haiti or Jamaica somewhere. Safe. A nigga out here, you snitch on somebody, nigga, your mama is on Western and 53rd somewhere. You understand? Your mama and your grandma is right there on Budlong somewhere. So niggas know exactly where your people are. So you put your people in jeopardy. Well, look, you saw what happened, speaking of shitty cuz, you saw what happened to this nigga, for those who don't know, the dude who killed our brother Nipsey, shitty cuz. This nigga whole family was getting lit up. They were lighting that nigga's family up left and right out here. That nigga's family was getting touched. Yeah? But yeah, like with Pop Smoke, like I said, and RIP to Pop Smoke. Pop Smoke, he was accused of doing some kind of grimy out here in LA, and then he came back. So when you do something grimy and you're an outsider and then you come back, people look at that like, okay, this nigga think this shit is sweet. That's how people think. They're like, hey man, this nigga think this shit is sweet out here. He's gonna have to get a reminder what the business is out here. Yeah? Well, Nipsey's mother is FBA, so Nipsey is still considered part FBA. That's our FBA brother. No, he wasn't from Eritrea. His dad was. Nipsey's mother is FBA. Yeah? Yes, my brother came from an FBA womb. Yes, he did. But I want you to understand. This Alpo dude, he thought after all these years it was going to be sweet, and it was not sweet. He wanted to go back to the old block, and that's where they got him. And they got him heavy. They got him hard. It was almost like he walked into it like he just accepted his fate to a certain degree. Did he know that he was going to get hit? For you to be rolling around like that, just doing interviews and all that stuff. And this shows another thing too. A lot of people who who do grimy shit, notice how they are allowed to just roam free. Notice how dudes who do grimy shit to black folks in the black community, notice how these niggas are always out here roaming free. Where dudes who do little humbug shit, they get the most time, but the most grimy niggas are out here rolling around, popping bottles, living the good life. Out here doing interviews about how you had folks clipped. You know? Where black folks who are jaywalking are sitting up here getting shot in the damn back. See, understand how white supremacy works. They let the Negro killers roam free. The niggas out here who's snitching and killing and dropping bodies off all over the place, they let these niggas roll around and live their best life. The dudes who's a part of the murder of Tupac. Old dude is out here doing interviews with immunity. Understand, the dude who was in the car when Tupac was killed, the dude who was an accessory to the murder of Tupac, he's out here doing interviews, living his best life. And he was out here for the long rise, the community. Yeah? The streets ain't no damn joke. And the streets don't forget. And family and my young folks, if you're thinking about touching these streets and getting in the streets, man, the first thing you need to do when you start getting street money is coming up with an exit strategy. Get many jealous niggas out here, many deals. Try to keep your circle as small as. You understand? Get you a. Invite nobody to your crib. Always think about how you're going to get anything, y'all. You understand? Deliberately deprived of shit.
All right, so that's the gist of that. But I wanted y'all to hear this interview that Alpo did when he was basically talking about how he killed Richard Porter. Kevin Childs. Kevin Childs was a big time dope dealer in Harlem. He was around Alpo and them at that time when when they was living a high life and they was making money. He was making money too, just like Alpo, Richard Porter, Azon, Faison. Shit, am I saying his name right? AZ Faison. When he was out here, when they was living a high life, he got snitched on. He went to the feds, did his time, got out, and made something of himself. Now he owns a magazine. He has a magazine business that he talks about the dope dealers, the big time dope dealers back then. It's basically a hip hop magazine company. He's doing really good, but he's one of those cats that got snitched on, went and did his time, got out the feds, and is doing well for himself. He knew Alpo real well. But I wanted y'all to hear how Alpo describes him killing Richard Porter, his best friend, and then dumping his body off at a well-known, I don't know what beach that was, but that's where they found his body, in the sand on the ground. Let's see here. Let me see if this is it right. Shit, that's not it. I want you to hear how he describes killing Richard Porter and how he's just talking about it like it wasn't shit. And he explains that Richard Porter was skimming off him. Um, when it came down to the drug business, he was backhanding him. He was taking a cut out the money that supposed to been going to Alpo. Well, damn. I would still think you wouldn't do your homeboy like how you did him, but I'm gonna let you listen to this, a little bit of this, to get you in the mind of how Alpo rolled. This is just what type of nigga he was. So I'm quite sure it's a lot of people out there are happy that this nigga is dead. I'm quite sure Richard Porter's family, man, they probably celebrating right now that somebody shot Alpo. And whoever shot and killed him, oh, they gonna be a living legend too. To have killed Alpo, and I'm quite sure, like I said, they got a bag for it. But I'm gonna let you listen to a little bit of how he's explaining how he killed Richard Porter, and this is gonna be crazy, y'all. This is some sick, twisted shit.
Right now I'm going to meet my little brother, Troy Reed. We're going to have some conversation about some stuff we've been talking about with each other for 15 years in prison. And now we get to talk about it. I get to talk about it as a free man. Baby, I'm just like the world. Baby, I ain't kidding at all. Baby, cause this piece has stole my soul. I'm moving like a criminal.
Exactly of where it happened, how it happened,
No.
you know, and kind of walk into it.
Right here where I was meeting Rich that night. And I pulled up right here. He got into the van right here. And once he got into the van, I knew I had to lock. I locked the doors. And as I was pulling off, I was asking him, because it didn't take long after I pulled off, I was asking him like, yo, Rich, where did you get that coat from, man? That shit was good, because I wanted to make him comfortable. That shit was good as a motherfucker. He's like, I got it from my connect. So yeah. So from there, I knew he was lying. I turned to my little man. I gave him the nod. Once I gave him the nod, my little man spent, because he was short, so he could stand up in the van. Next thing you heard was the 2 gunshots, bang, bang.
Now the person that he talking about, his homeboy that was a little short dude, he talking about Gary. Gary was one of Alpo's close dudes, just like Wayne Perry was. Gary, they called him Big Head Gary because he was a real short dude. He was real short for a dude, and he had a big ass head, so they called him Big Head Gary. He had Gary to commit some murders too, but he's talking about Gary when he's saying that who killed Richard Porter. But Alpo set it up, but Gary is the one that pulled the trigger and killed Richard Porter. But Alpo set it up now, so you might as well say Alpo killed him, because he set it up. He didn't pull the trigger, but he set it up.
Richard slumped over, and once I gave him the nod, my little man spent, because he was short, so he could stand up in the van. Next thing you heard was the 2 gunshots, bang, bang. Richard slumped over, and it happened. It happened right here. It happened right here. At this light, it happened. I'm saying, in my mind, I'm saying to my little man, yo, he's dead. He's done it. He just got hit with a 357. Twice. The only sound I heard was, him releasing his breath. His last breath. So I'm assuming that he's dead. And I need to find a place to put his, leave his body without anyone seeing me and seeing the van or just, so the only only place I can think of, and just driving it, and it's just so funny. I'm saying City Island, but I'm not even sure if I wanted City Island, but I just knew I wanted to get off the streets and get onto a highway.
How did you feel? Was you mad? Was you angry? Like, what was going on in your head?
I was very mad. I just killed a nigga that I loved, a nigga that I was getting money with, a nigga that I called my brother. We kept driving this way, and until I can find a remote spot to leave the body. Go around this turn right here. Yeah, loop it real quick. It was somewhere over here. So I pulled over like right here, just threw the van up on me as close as I can to the rail. Once I pulled over, my little man, Gary's probably like 5'3", 1 something. So I'm trying to stay behind this. I'm trying to stay behind the steering wheel. I'm trying to stay in the driver's seat just in case we got to pull off, and have him go dump the body. But when he went to go try to get Rich out the car, he couldn't pick him up. He couldn't pick him up. Rich was bigger than him, so he couldn't move him to put him in the woods and all that. So now I had to get out the van to go help him. And when I went to go help him, Richard made a sound. So that shit startled me. Oh shit, he's still alive. So I grabbed the gun. I grabbed the gun from my little man and put one in his head.
Okay, so my bad. Gary shot him twice in the back of the head because Gary was in the passenger seat behind Richard Porter. Alpo was driving. Richard Porter was in the passenger seat. Gary put 2 shots to the head, but like he was saying, when he was moving the body, Richard Porter was still making some noises. So that's when Alpo knew he wasn't all the way dead yet. And he the one gave him the ultimate blow to the head to finish him off.
Then I had to pick up me. Oh shit, he's still alive. So I grabbed the gun. I grabbed the gun from my little man and put one in his head. And then I had to pick him up. I had to pick him up and dump him in the woods and leave his body. I was able to, get him where he needed to be. And then we jumped back in the van, and I made sure I didn't skid off or anything like that to leave any kind of tracks. And we left. And the rest was the newspapers. The rest was history.
Wow. That's a lot. That's a lot. Richard Porter's sister did an interview. That was a real, I think I cried when I watched that interview. She goes into details how her little brother was kidnapped and held for ransom by the big time drug lord Preacher. He was a big time dope dealer in Harlem. And a lot of people used to get their work from him. And he used to front a lot of niggas, work. A lot of people was working for him. But it was Richard Porter's uncle who had set the whole thing up to have the nephew kidnapped because he was mad at Richard Porter because he felt like Richard Porter wasn't showing him no love and Richard Porter was making all this money. Richard Porter's uncle was on drugs real bad. So Richard Porter ended up putting him out the house. It was Richard Porter, his brother, his mama, and his uncle staying in his house. Well, Richard Porter got tired of his uncle doing drugs in the house around his little brother and just sitting up on his ass, not trying to get no job, trying to better his life, that he put him out of the house. So the uncle felt some type of way about Richard Porter for that. Well, he had Preacher and Preacher folks to kidnap Richard Porter's brother, his little brother. So they held his little brother for ransom. and making Richard Porter come up with all this money. Well, all the money that his uncle thought he was making, he really didn't have on hand. You know how we as black people, we love to showboat shit. And we really don't have no money saved up, but we like to look fly and we like to look good. But when she hit the fan, we ain't got no money saved up, or we ain't got no money to get us bailed out of jail and shit. You know how that shit go. So the uncle thought Richard Porter had more than what he thought what he had. So when they kidnapped the nephew, and they was calling Richard Porter's house and holding them for ransom, telling them they want such and such amount of money. Richard Porter didn't have it like that. He really didn't have it like that. So what they end up doing, they thought that Richard Porter was playing around with them. They cut off the boy's thumb. And they put it in a nearby location in the bathroom. And they had Richard Porter folks to go to the bathroom. They said, it's a package for you waiting there. It was the little boy thumb they had cut off. So ain't no telling what all they was doing to the little boy while they had him down in the basement. Because, Preacher had this house where they would take people down to the basement and torture them. It was a known fact. That's what he would do. He would have his folks to fuck them up down in that basement, kill them, dismember them. They did shit like that. Well, they had a little boy down in the basement, torturing the little boy, cut off his thumb or whatever. Richard Porter, he going crazy because he know that his lifestyle done caught up with him, and all this shit wouldn't have happened if he went out here being a big time dope dealer and shit like that. So once Richard Porter got killed, they went ahead and killed Richard Porter's brother. Many folks think that Richard Porter's brother was already dead. I think he was too, because I believe that they wouldn't have let the boy, I think they would have got the money from Richard Porter, but wouldn't have never let the little boy go, because the little boy had already seen who had fucked him up. He already seen the uncle. The uncle was going to Preacher's house every day, So the little boy seen who had kidnapped him. He knew the uncle had something to do with it. So they weren't going, I really believe they would have got the money from Richard Porter, but when they never let the little boy go, I think they had planned on killing him anyway, because he had already seen the players. He already seen who had kidnapped him. The little boy wasn't no 5-year-old. He was like 11, 12 years old. He was older. So he had already seen who kidnapped him. He already seen who had took him to the house. He already seen who was torturing him. So he was going to be able to tell who the fuck did it. So I believe they was planning on killing the boy the whole time, all along. But Richard Porter's body was found first. His sister, mom, everybody discovered the body. So they had, they got the call that they found Richard Porter's body. And then 2 weeks after that is when the little boy body had been found. And they had dismembered the little boy body and put him in bags and threw him in the river. And within that same month is when Richard Porter's family got, found out about the demise of Richard Porter and the little brother. But see, when you deal in this kind of lifestyle, if they can't touch you, they'll touch somebody close to you. They'll touch somebody dear to you. I'm going to let y'all listen to a little bit of Richard Porter's sister kind of explaining the story. I ain't going to stay up too long, y'all. I got to wake up, go to work in the morning. But I'm going to let you listen to a little bit of Richard Porter's sister explaining the death of.
I wanted the car in the magazine. Fuck the cars that was on the floor. I go in there with the magazine, like, yo, I want this one in the magazine. Fuck that shit on the floor. And it might have been 86, but I wanted the 88.
This is AZ Faison speaking right now.
You know what I mean? Because we was playing on some hurt. We gotta hurt each other. We gotta what? Bust out with this, bust out with that. And, stay futuristic and get some 88 shit on these niggas. And took the money in there, 50,000. Yo, I want that joint right there. I got 50, man. I know that shit ain't gonna cost that much. If you can get it for me, whatever it is, you keep the difference. If the dealer hearing that shit, you like, word. You make a few phone calls and he get you the joint. And you the first nigga in the USA with the brand new 735.
That's Alpo in jail, kind of just giving a backstory of how they used to be balling out of control back in the days in Harlem. But I'm trying to get to where the sister tells a story about the little boy getting killed.
It's crazy right now. Niggas having more than one girl. Niggas is going to get beepers, cell phones. It's crazy right now.
Niggas went from selling half a gram to getting 80 keys. Yes, they playing 100 keys. Niggas didn't have a house.
Maybe you wanna hustle, maybe you wanna get money, being fucked up, being broke, you know? Mom's on welfare. Welfare couldn't feed us, couldn't get us what we needed. You know what I mean? Going to school fucked up, broke. You couldn't really pay attention to class, the motherfucker snapping, whatever. You wanted to have the best of things and shit. You know, packing bags, wasn't doing it. And I started working as the cleanest. And fucking with Rich. Rich was always in the game, doing little things to eat. Whatever it was, he kept himself with some money in his pocket. And holding things from like guns, drugs, and things like that. And the cleanest, Mr. Jimmy, the cleanest, on finding the guns and shit. Find me one day and it's like, let me out, I'm fucked up.
Yeah, but it's different kind of you than that. See, I was getting ready, at my age, I was born in 60, I was getting ready to go back to jail again. You know what I mean? Well, I met up with AC. He was a very cool young guy, you know?
Okay, so that really was, okay. So, I was trying to see, was that the video that really was the video? I guess I need to go up a little bit further. But let's see. I'm gonna let y'all listen. Let's see. Okay, we're gonna listen to a little bit of this, all right? This is AZ Faison.
And they can't blow their cover. But they got a badge to play the game, man.
Let you listen to a little bit of this right here.
So, at what point did Alpo get arrested?
After he was in Harlem, he went out to D.C. doing what he do, whatever out in D.C. And I think, you know, according to what they say on these documentaries and reading, a lot of people lost their lives. Just laying down a lot of people. You know, and I don't see, to me personally speaking, I don't understand the reason for murder. If it's about money, everybody getting money.
Yeah.
Now that's just something, other hidden agenda that, you know, I don't know, man. I don't know. But it's deep to me, fam. And I still believe that when you learn about situations, how the government set up people, like the movie, what's the name of that film? Deep Cover?
Yeah.
You don't know if these people was police all along, man.
Undercover.
And they can't blow their cover. But they got a badge to play the game, man. That's how wicked this shit is. You play it from a street point of view, breaking the law, and you got to dodge the cops, but you might be working with one of them dudes. They could take your head off at any given time.
Legally.
Legally, with a badge. go any motherfucking where they want to go and do this. So that's the question that lurks inside of me. It's like, damn, who is this dude?
You mean Alpo?
Whoever.
Okay.
Poe and many others.
Alpo's out in D.C. selling drugs.
It's even like in the gangs today, man. You know, like all these young kids getting murdered. And it ain't really no money in the streets, but people are getting murdered in cold blood every fucking day.
Right.
From gang violence for what?
So at what point does Alpo actually get arrested?
DC, he get locked up, I think in 93.
Okay. For what?
For bodies, for murders. The dude, I think Wayne Perry or something like that. He supposed to told on Wayne Perry. It's, you know, after Rich, man, I pull out, but you hear the stories. You hear all the crazy shit, and it just makes you wonder why.
Also, Azon, AZ Faison, I believe Alpo was behind this incident right here. AZ came home and he was ambushed by some guys. He was ambushed. It was him, his auntie and her sister. They were all ambushed. The auntie and sister got killed. Matter of fact, let me go back. It wasn't Alpo that had something to do with this. It was a guy that used to date AZ's sister, actually. And AZ and the guy, they end up getting into it at some club because the guy had went to jail, got out, and he felt like AZ should have helped put him on. Well, AZ did. He threw him some money, gave him one of his cars, and he put him on, you know, on one of the streets, one of the spot that sell, you know, that was making good money. Well, the dude wanted more power. He wanted the whole, I think he was sharing the block with another dude. He wanted the whole block to himself. Anyway, him and AZ got into it. Well, the dude set AZ up. AZ's auntie and her friend end up getting killed. The guy holds AZ in the bathroom gunpoint while the other dude in the room shoots and kills AZ's auntie and her sister, cold blood in the back of the head, execution style, kill them. They were screaming, they were hollering, they wouldn't shut up, he killed them. Then AZ heard the gunshots, went to run, you know, to their rescue. The dude ended up putting 2 shots, I believe, to AZ's head. So AZ got shot like 2 or 3 times, and it was lucky that he made it through. He said he died, actually. He died he died in the hospital. They brought him back, is what he was saying. It's crazy, y'all. But AZ's supposed to be dead right now. But miraculously, he made it through. This just show you how deep that drug shit was back then. How everybody was cutthroat. But that's when AZ said, "No more selling drugs. I'm done with it." He was done with it. This was when Richard Porter had got killed. The little brother got kidnapped and killed. AZ's auntie and her friend got killed. So AZ was like, "I'm out the game. Forget this, I'm out the game. It's too much shit going around." It's one thing to see other people that you know getting killed or getting locked up, but when it touches home is when it really opens up your eyes to see shit and make you want to change.
And I just can't see it being about money, man. I think it was a deeper agenda, bro. According to what I hear, he told on a lot of people because they was going to give him the chair. So he said, fuck that. You know, this is what I hear.
Does Alpo officially get connected to Rich Porter's murder?
He admits to it.
He admits to it?
Yes, sir.
So he said, "I killed Rich Porter."
He admits to that.
That's where the scratches came from.
I don't know if he's saying that's where the scratches came from.
But it doesn't matter.
But he admits to killing Rich, but he did that. He didn't do that to the little boy.
Yeah.
You understand? So eventually, I think maybe like in '95, they caught that crew that did that.
The uncle.
And one of the uncle, but he was working for someone, and I think he told on everybody in his organization, and he said that he didn't have nothing to do with that situation. That was called by the uncle. You feel me? But he mind him. They was murdering a lot of people in Harlem just as well, storing cats and doing that. So that's what happened with that situation.
Okay, Alpo gets locked up in '93. He admits to killing Rich Porter.
Yes, sir.
That just sent shockwaves through Harlem? Or did people already
I'm gonna
kind
put
of
it like this. You see Scarface?
Yeah.
That sent the shockwave through Harlem and through people like when Scarface killed this man. You feel me? Like, damn, why you do that? You feel me? Because they was like that. It was like if Rich bust out with the M3, Poe would bust out with. It was a thing, like, you know, it's like we was on a stage and the people looking at this performance, how do you kill your man? That's how it was. Like, oh, baby. That's how that was. And people maybe still don't accept that. Like, it's incredible.
Okay, so Alpo admits to murder, and he admits to multiple murders?
I believe so.
Okay, but because he tells on other people, they lower his sentence.
I'm not sure. Because you hear one thing, you hear another thing, you hear this, you hear that. I don't know. I don't have the details to that, man, but it's something shady about all that to me, so I just don't.
But Alpo gets out.
I don't know. This is what I hear. I heard he's home now. A lot of people say Alpo's home, but they've been saying this 5, 6 years ago.
Okay, because I had heard that he's in witness protection. That was the word I heard, but then again, I'm not very connected to this whole thing.
I don't know. I haven't seen him.
Okay, and you never try to reach out to him in prison or nothing?
No. We spoke.
You spoke?
We spoke a few times when he was locked up.
Really?
We spoke like twice.
And what was that conversation about?
The first conversation was, I'm trying to write a movie about this shit.
Okay.
And he told this girl I knew where he was at, and we met. We were supposed to meet I met at her house. He was gonna call at a certain time, and he called, and I told him, and I asked him like, yo, why, man? And he was like, yo, man, nigga Rich lied, man, about Connect, blah 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 blah. And I'm like, okay, cool. But he was like, Rich gave him the birds at a certain price, and he should have gave it to him at a different price. This is the reason why he did that. Rich fucked him out about 200,000 or 300,000. You know, whatever he said. But I'm like, okay, cool. But I'm trying to do a movie. That was my whole issue of speaking to him, because I didn't want to just write a movie and not, you know, have him co-sign. Yeah, I ain't no problem, man. Whatever. I think he had signed the paper what he needed to sign, and the movie I wrote the movie, which is entitled Trap, and trying to steer the generation that I saw following us into a different direction, but it came out as paid in full. That's another story within itself.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, I spoke to him then I spoke to him again. K-Slade wanted us to do something called Face Off on one of his mixtapes.
Yeah.
And we spoke then. And Troy Reeds had set up a situation one time when we spoke then, because we were doing the documentary, The Game Over.
Yeah.
And that's the times we spoke. And there was no hard feelings in the conversation. You understand? It was like, all right, hey, okay, man. We're going to do this, we're going to do that, and that's that. You feel me? And there was no hard feelings, bro.
And you never ended up going to prison?
Nah.
Okay.
Not for that. I didn't really never go to prison. I got locked up before a few times.
But
not for drug dealing and all that like that.
So you essentially were one of the ones that actually got out without being dead or locked up forever?
Yes, sir. But
you did.
Hear me out, my brother.
But you did get shot up pretty badly.
He got shot up pretty badly.
Lost family members.
Lost family members.
Lost friends.
Lost friends. Constantly being looked at as, you know, a drug dealer. That's it, that's all. That hurts.
All right. So that's AZ Faison telling a little bit about how he was communicated with Alpo when Alpo was locked up in the feds, explaining how he came up with which we know as Paid in Full, the very popular, infamous movie today, Paid in Full. AZ is the one that actually had got that movie rolling to have Paid in Full made. AZ was behind that movie. He was the one that came up with having Paid in Full, you know what I'm saying, made into a movie. Their lifestyle, you know, their life made into a movie. I'm gonna let y'all listen to Alpo describing why he killed Richard Porter, his best friend now. I'm gonna let y'all listen to that.
Rich, the question to everybody with that, Rich, the reason why Richard, okay, I had a connect. I had a young Dominican connect off of Broadway, and, you know, he wasn't really in position at the time when I was really dealing with him to really front me crazy. You know, he would front me one or two, but he wasn't really in a position where, you know, we wanted him to front us like, you know, 50, 60, 100 keys. We didn't want to put up no money. We want you to front us, and we'll pay you when we, you know, get the drugs. Or if we got 100 from you, we'll put up some of the money and we'll pay you the rest. You know what I mean? Right. But we don't have to go in the stash for our money. So my connect wasn't in position at the time like that, and Richard was dealing with his connect that he met when he did that year in prison. He met a connect when he did that year in the Bronx house. Okay. So this kid was hitting him lovely, but then it stopped. The kid caught a dry spell. Since you ain't got nobody getting no drugs from, deal with my man, he'll give you a good price, and the money I'm bringing from out of town, you know, we'll hit him. And when he starts fronting us the drugs, you let me know. Because I had other connects, I had like 2 or 3 other connects that I was able to deal with too. So the time came when he was going to start fronting us the coke. Okay. But I was out of town. Since I was out of town, he wasn't able to catch up to me. It was easy for him to just deal with Rich. Right. Give it to Rich and let Rich give it to me. Right. So that's what happened. If he gave 100, I was supposed to get 50. You know what I mean? I know. At the same price that he was charging Rich, I was supposed to get it for that price too. Right. But before this came along, I was already dealing with Rich with his connect. So if his connect was charging whatever, I didn't have no problem with Rich making $1,000, $2,000 off of me, because I was coming to spend $300,000-$400,000 with him. But now my connect is giving it from 12, 13. My original connect is giving it to for 12, 13, and I'm supposed to get half of that at that price. But Rich got me thinking that the coke that I'm getting from him is still coming from his connect. So then I wound up bumping into my connect because I wound up staying up there a couple of days, and I wound up running into my connect. Okay. So I bumped into him. So I said, yo, what's up, man? I said, yo, what's up, man? When are you gonna start, you know, looking out for a brother, man? Okay. He was like, what you talking about, Paul? I said, man, you know what that I'm talking about. When you gonna start fronting us this and that? And he had a lot of respect for me. I had a lot of respect for him. And so I said, yo, so he's like, yo, what are you talking about? I just gave Rich like 60 joints. This time I just gave Rich like 60 bricks. Okay. And 30 of those bricks were mine. Okay. So I'm saying, no, you didn't. You didn't. Rich got coke from his man. He said, man, Paul, I'm telling you, man. I said, oh, yeah? I said, yeah, all right, man. And he described them. And I remember I had just got these round joints from Rich that were real good. And I think they had like Reagan or somebody on them. Okay. They were real good, man. And he described it to me and everything. Okay. So I said, yo, all right. I said, yo, we never had this conversation, man. So I didn't really say much about it. I just had in my mind like, damn, Rich getting over on me like that. So I didn't say nothing to him the first time. So I went back down to D.C. to get rid of my bricks and all that. And I had developed a relationship with a dude that just started off as one of my customers. Me and him had built a relationship where we became like real tight, like me and Rich in New York. This kid was me and Rich in D.C.
Okay. What was his name?
His name was Gary.
Gary.
Yeah, little Gary.
Is that the one that they say got his dick cut off?
Yeah, that's the one they say got his dick cut off, yeah.
Was that a situation from you?
Yeah.
That was?
I wound up killing little Gary later on. This kid was good. He was probably about 3 years younger than me. He was a murderer too. He was about his murder game.
Okay.
This was my little man. So I went back down to D.C., man, and I told my little man, I said, yo, man. So I said, yo, man, this dude Rich up in New York, man. And he knew Rich from me bringing him to New York because we used to do the firework thing in New York.
Okay.
Every 4th of July, I used to spend like $10,000, $15,000 with these guineas downtown and get me like a truck full of fireworks and come back to my neighborhood and blow it all up and all that.
Okay.
Around 105th Street, and this time I did it around 102nd Street with Rich and all that, and I brought my little man, because they never seen nothing like that being in D.C. They couldn't really do stuff like that, so I brought him to New York to show him how we live up there and all that.
Okay.
So he wanted me and Rich in that process and all that. So I went back to D.C. I said, yo, man, this dude here, man. I just found out this dude is jerking me, man. He said, what are you talking about? I said, man, this dude getting me bricks from my man. I'm supposed to get half at this price. And he charging me this price because I'm thinking it's still coming from his connect. And the first thing come out, he's like, man, let's kill him, man. I was like, nah, just hold up for a minute. Let me think about this thing. So I wound up calling Rich. I said, yo, Rich, everything all right? Your man back on? So I'm just checking around. I said, your man back on? He said, oh yeah, my man just gave me some more joints. You coming up? I said, yeah, I'll be there. I said, all right. I told my little man, I said, yo, we going to New York, man, and we gonna go see Rich. No, first I went to New York. I took care of my business with him. I spent about $500,000 with him, and got my bricks and all that. And I think he was also getting bricks from like Fritz and them. I don't know if you ever heard of the kid Fritz.
Yeah, I heard of Fritz.
Yeah, Fritz was getting boatloads of that stuff. I wound up taking it back to D.C. So I'm still not saying that, so I'm saying my little man, I said, yo, man, that's it, man. I'm going back to New York. I said, yo, ask Rich. I'm going to step to him because I'm really like just fed up with it now. I said, yo, I'm going to ask Rich who he got that coke from. This last day, who he getting this coke from. And if he lied to me again, that's it, it's over.
Okay.
I'm taking him out. So now I tell my little man this, I'm saying, yo, you come. I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. I had just got me a customized van. I just bought me a customized van. Them big joints with the TV and the bed and all that.
Okay.
So I had just bought one of those, and it was up there in the shop getting the system done and all that. So I told my little man, I said, yo, we gonna go to New York. We gonna fly to New York. I'm gonna get with Rich, and I'm gonna find out what the hell is going on.
Okay.
So one thing led to another, and I don't want to go into all that, but did I, the question is, did I have anything, did I kill Rich?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes. I killed Rich.
How'd that come about? You just put, because everything on the street said that a limousine pulled up.
Huh?
A limousine pulled up and put Richard in the car or something like that.
That's what they said?
Yeah.
No. That's what, that didn't happen. That's for them to see later on, Antoine. That didn't happen, Antoine.
Okay.
That didn't happen. But I know the thing is, did I kill Rich? And yes, I killed.
Lindor, made to melt you
Hold on, y'all.
by the lipped metal chocolatier.
Kill Rich. Why did I kill him? It wasn't personal. It was business. I'm gonna tell you this, because Rich, like I told you, like the story I told with the connect and all that. Rich, he was lying to me about something that there was no reason to lie to me about, and in my mind, it just told me that if this little bit of money can come between what I thought was a wonderful relationship and a friendship, then no telling what you might sell me down the line for. And I gave him the opportunity to tell me the truth, not once but twice. So when I already came with the plan with my little man, and like, yo, if he lied to me, we just gonna do what we need to do. Then that's what happened. Did I kill the little brother? No, I didn't. That was, you know who that was, right?
Right.
You know who that was?
Right, they said it was Preacher.
No, they didn't. That's who it was. They got not just Preacher, but Richard's uncle Apple.
Right.
They did that. And what made it seem like I had something to do with it is because where I left Richard, the boy's body was found almost in that same whole City Island area.
Now, they said you carried the body all the way from Harlem to City Island? Yeah. You wasn't afraid?
No. I mean, once that first murder, once you take care of that first murder in your life, you know, it's like really, and not that this is a good thing that I'm saying, but you know, once you do it once, it's like everything else is. No, I wasn't afraid. No, the answer to that, no, I wasn't. No, I wasn't afraid. I mean, I was doing what I had to do, Antoine.
Okay.
Definitely got killed in that area, and his body was definitely taken up to around City Island.
Okay.
He got hit twice. It was just he felt something, man, because I'll tell you this, his hand was on the doorknob. I had to pry his hand from the doorknob because it locked on the doorknob.
Locked on the doorknob?
Yeah, he was trying to get up out of there.
They also said that he scratched your neck.
That's a false. He never scratched. Richard, first of all, Richard never seen it coming, really. He couldn't have scratched my neck because I was the driver, and my little man took care of everything else. And he didn't scratch me. How I got my neck scratched, and it's not they said it. I believe AZ said my neck.
Right, AZ said it.
Yeah, I believe AZ said my neck. Hold on. Richard didn't scratch my neck. Richard never even seen it coming. Richard never even laid a hand on me. He never knew what was happening.
So y'all heard that. He said Richard felt something was up and he had his hand on the doorknob. But by Alpo driving the truck, he had the doors locked. So you know how when you got one of those cars, they have the safety lock. So he couldn't get out if he wanted to. But he felt like something was in the air. So he had his hand on the doorknob. Gary in the back. Put 2 shots in the head. And then ultimately, Alpo finished Richard off. When they was trying to get him out the car, they realized he wasn't dead. So Alpo went over and shot him again in the head. And that's what ultimately killed him. I'm sure eventually he would have died with those 2 gunshot wounds in the head. Like, God damn. He took a lot of shots. But also, Alpo was so trifling, he also turned around and had Gary killed. The one who he was having to kill a lot of these people. And I can't think of the dude's name right now. I'm going to have to come back. But he had another one of his homeboys killed too, because Gary was fucking, it's crazy, y'all. Gary was fucking around with this dude that Alpo was cool with. The dude confronted Alpo and told Alpo to tell Gary to leave his wife alone. Anyway, he claimed that Gary ended up killing the dude. I think Alpo set the dude up to get killed by Gary, honestly, the way it went down. But Alpo was just, he was the cause of a lot of people's lives getting taken. A lot of people's lives getting taken. I'm going to let y'all listen to Alpo talk about how him and Wayne Perry killed Gary. The same Gary that he had to kill his best friend, Richard Porter. So see, I don't understand why these dudes be seeing Alpo kill his right-hand man and don't think that he won't take you out. If he took Richard Porter out, Gary, you went closer to Alpo than Richard Porter was closer to Alpo. What makes you think that he wouldn't have took your little ass out? Which eventually he did. But I'm going to let y'all listen to that.
Now, how'd your little man get killed now?
Little Gary got killed in D.C. And it wasn't because he helped me out with the Rich thing and all that. Oh, yeah, by the way, I got my money back. That Rich jerked me out. If you want to put that.
Okay.
Definitely got my money back.
How'd you do that?
Well, remember, I just got hit with a bunch of bricks from him.
Right.
That I was supposed to bring the money back for.
Right.
I kept that.
Oh, you kept that?
Yeah, I got close to what he was beating me for back. Okay. My little man in D.C., it came a thing with him where he was, he was a short kind of guy. He was about 5'1", 5'2", real slim in the body and a real big head.
Okay.
But he was getting money though. People didn't know he was getting money. At that time, he was probably holding about $1 million, $2 million, and people didn't know that he was holding like that. He was getting it, and he had a real short man complex. Okay, and like I said, we wasn't just business partners. I knew a lot of his business. I knew his family. He knew my family in D.C. and in New York. I knew his son's mother. I knew where he laid his head. He knew where I laid my head sometimes. I knew some of his stashes. He knew some of my stashes. We became real close. And he was also the one with me with Rich.
Okay.
So we had a lot of secrets on one another. And he had the short man complex, and he started to become real jealous with me as far as through the people, because the people used to, since I was Alpo, people used to see him with me all the time and think he was working for me.
Right.
Because not until I came to DC really, he started coming out with like Benzes and all, because he seen what I was doing, so he started busting out with little Benzes and all that type of 300 coupes and all that.
Right.
And I always had the reputation if you let me your car, Antoine, automatically that was my car.
Right.
That was my car. And then if they seen you with it, like, oh yeah, he driving Paul car. So time went on. One day, me and him and one of his workers was sitting at a table at a restaurant having a sandwich, and he called my wife a bitch. He called my wife a bitch because he was like, man, you still with that crazy bitch? And I just looked over at him, and I could have took it a little better if it was just me and him. But one of his workers was there.
Right.
And I kind of like gave him that look like, yo, you really disrespected me right now. And so he seen her. She was coming to look for me down Southwest because she knew I hung out down there. So the guy seen her, he was like, yo, there go that bitch. Look at that bitch. Who she looking for? She must be looking for Poe. And my man Wayne heard him say this. And he beat me. He beat me later. He was like, yo, Gary was down here talking trash about you and he disrespected your wife. I was going to kill him right there, but I said, let me get with you first. Because I was like, no, I still got love for the kid. No, he's just frustrated right now. Then we had a lot of secrets on one another, and I always told them before this happened, I said, we know so much about one another that if we was to ever get into any type of confusion or anything, one of us would have to leave. And I'm definitely not going back to New York because I'm getting money. So the only thing else is one of us will have to die. He was like, yo, I feel you, because we knew a lot about one another. So now I got this deal coming up with this connect, like, yo, this crazy big deal, like, yo, they want me to put up like, I had to put up like maybe about $2 million. They was gonna hit me with like probably about, I say anywhere from like $6 million worth of coke in New York. You hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, it was like about $6 million. So they wanted me to put up like $2 million, and I owe $4.
Okay.
Right? So I had like 1.5. I put up like 1.5, and I was just telling my little man for him to just put up a $500,000.
Okay.
I was able to put up I could have put up the whole $2 million at that time.
Okay.
This would have just set us on the map and it was at like 11,000 a key, 10,000 a key. I could have came to DC and got 19,000. To the dudes who I didn't really like and the dudes who I was real cool with, I could have got 17. That was like $6,000, $8,000 profit. So before this goes about, his anger is really building up with me, and he's not really feeling me like that anymore. And we really had stopped hanging out, but I didn't really pay no attention to it. I'm saying I still got love for this kid and all that. So he tells somebody down in Lawton prison about this deal. He told somebody that he was cool with down there. Only thing he didn't know that the same person that he's telling, they know my man, Wayne. My man Wayne, he get to me and say, yo, you about to put a deal together in New York for this, that, and gonna put gas. I said, what the hell? I said, how you know? He said, well, man, my man called me down from Lawrence. He said, Gary told him that, yo, that you want to put this deal together and it ain't gonna go, he gonna wind up doing you in the process. Just how much anger he built up for me. So I said, oh, yeah. So my man was like, yo, I said, no, we got to do this right now. Can't just be running up on Gary in broad daylight. That's gonna come back to us. So we gotta do this right, and we gotta get him when nobody know. So my little man Gary, he had a little beef with somebody, and they just like maybe like a month earlier, they tried to kill him, and so he beats me one night and said, yo, kid, one of the kids' name was Jawbreaker, out of DC, the kid named Jawbreaker. He said, yo, I know where Jawbreaker them at. This is Gary talking to us on the phone, like, yo, I know where the kid Jawbreaker them at. They had such and such, such and such. I said, oh yeah. So I'm talking to my phone. I said, who you with? He said, yo, I'm by myself. I said, you got something? He said, yeah, I got 2 pistols with me now. I said, all right. I was with my man Wayne and like 2 other dudes that were under my man Wayne. So that was our perfect opportunity. My man Wayne was like, yo, this is it. Make it happen. So we go. We jump in this kid MPV van, because we used to like use an MPV van because they had the little side compartments. We could throw the pistols in there if the police pull us over. Okay. Real quick. So we jump in the MPV van. So I'm driving because since I was like the best driver. So we go meet the kid Gary, because this is the perfect opportunity. Don't nobody know he's with us now. And when he come up missing, we can always be like, man, I knew how to deny it quick. Okay. So we go get him. Boom. So we go get him. He gets into the MPV van. He parks his car or whatever. He parks his truck. He had the truck at the time. He parks his truck. I met him on, Florida Avenue. I go meet him on Florida Avenue by a Wendy's, I think it was. Okay. We get a little revolver out of the stash, and I give it to the dudes that's sitting in back of my man Gary. So my man Gary, he's in the middle, but he don't know that we done slipped the revolver to the back to the kid who's gonna hit him in the head. We ran for about 5-10 minutes after we get the gas. Bang, my man hit him. I give the signal through the rearview mirror. My man hit him with the revolver, 2 in the head. All you hear is, once he hit him, because the kid Gary was getting kind of sleepy, because we was about to be like, yo, we ain't gonna catch these dudes. So, Gary was getting kind of sleepy, so he like dozed off for a minute. So he never even seen it or felt it coming. So the kid hit him with the revolver, bow, bow, so the bullets don't go nowhere, because in the revolver, they don't pop out. Okay. So he hit him in the head twice. Yo, Gary, he winds up shitting on himself. Okay. From his muscles relaxing. Okay. So, he's stinking up the car and all that, so that's how the thing came out that his dick was chopped off. So we had to find some woods. So I had to find somewhere to dump him at. So we wound up taking him in this park over on 16th Street in Northwest. Okay. I don't know if it's Potomac Park. I think it's called Potomac Park or something. So we wound up taking him over there. And I said, yo, man, we gonna leave him in the woods. So I said, yo. So we pull over in this real dark. I said, yo, take off his clothes, man, so they won't spot him through the clothes and all that. Take off his clothes and leave him naked in the woods. So we do that, and we dragging him through the woods naked. So he gets a couple of scratches on his body and his face and on his penis, because we taking him through the bush, we dragging him. So that's how it came about that they thought we chopped off his dick and all that. And I thought where we left him at was real cool, but we wound up leaving him next to some type of telephone box or something. And the next day, just so happened that the telephone people was coming out to fix this box. And that's how they found him the next day.
He's just describing the shit like it ain't shit. It's crazy, y'all. And there's tons and tons and tons of videos out there. But this is all when Alpo was still locked up in the feds. He had already been charged and prosecuted, was found guilty. But like I said, he had turned state, so they only gave him a little amount of time. So he was able to tell his story and make a profit off of it, which I think is crazy, but hey. So yeah, but there's lots more to this. But it's real interesting. But I thank you for tuning in. Thank you for the likes. I'm about to take my ass to sleep. It's 12:11 where I'm at, and I need to be up by 6 o'clock in the morning. So I'm gonna leave it at that. But I think I'm gonna make a few more videos about this because the Alpo story is real interesting. But if you haven't heard, Alpo was shot and killed early this morning, about 3 o'clock in the morning, in a drive-by shooting. Someone took him out. He was hanging out at a spot, him and some other people, and hanging out at 3 o'clock in the morning, in Harlem. So yeah, it's a sad situation. I hate he did. Like I said, I wish he could have laid low and just stayed out the way. Even though he did a lot of trifling shit to a lot of people. You know, karma always comes back, but I hated this. You know, I was really rooting for him. But, you know, I guess he couldn't stay away from where he was from. I'm quite sure he had still a lot of family, a lot of friends still lived in that area. So I guess he thought after 20, 30 years, it was safe to come out of hiding. And ultimately, that wasn't the case. So, but I will be dropping some more videos sometime tomorrow evening about the Alpo story, because I know a lot of people don't know all about the Alpo story, but it's really interesting stuff. If you don't know the full details on it, it's really good. So I'll be back tomorrow. Good night.